Hi everyone, this is Wynn. On my channel, I like to tell you about unique places and experiences all around the world. And today I want to talk to you about someplace I went not too long ago, and that is the island of Zanzibar off the coast of Tanzania in East Africa in the Indian Ocean. Yep, that's me right there. I think I look super cute, right? Okay, good. Today, specifically, I want to talk to you about the childhood home of Freddie Mercury in Stone Town, which is the historic center of Zanzibar. It's aptly named the Freddie Mercury House. You probably know Freddie Mercury as the frontman of Queen, with the operatic voice, the very British wit, and unfortunately the man who died of AIDS in the early 90s. I personally am the biggest Freddie Mercury fan. I have watched the Queen Live Aid show at least 100 times at this point. But here, we're gonna go back all the way to the beginning of Freddie's life. We're gonna talk about why Freddie's family came to Zanzibar, what he got up to on the island, and ultimately why he left and his family left. We are also going to explore the complex relationship that Freddie had with the island and vice versa. I'd also like to offer some context as to why perhaps Freddie rarely spoke about his childhood in Zanzibar, so perhaps you'll have a good idea of that by the end of this video. So, Zanzibar is a total melting pot with Swahili, Arab, and British influences at the forefront, and the island is majority Muslim. When I was there a few years back, I found it all a bit magical. Felt like I was on Tatooine. That's a reference from my Star Wars fans. It was endless narrow streets to wander through, children running about. It was incredibly hot when I was there in August. There were multi-story buildings constructed of coral. There were all these fancy Arab doors, shops that sold teas and spices grown on the island. And when I was there was absolutely no shortage of Freddie Mercury merch to buy. Like, they put his rock star face on just about anything you could find, like anything. So let's talk about the man of the hour, Freddie Mercury. The Queen lead singer was born Farrokh Bulsara in 1946 on the island of Zanzibar to Parsi parents who had emigrated from India. His younger sister Karishma was born 6 years later. And for context, Parsi prescribed to the Zoroastrian faith, one of the oldest monotheistic religions in the world. And ancestrally, they are Persian. Zoroastrians emigrated to India sometime back in the Middle Ages to avoid religious persecution. Now, in the early 1940s, the Bulsara family moved to Zanzibar from India to work for the British government. Back then, Zanzibar was a British protectorate, and India, of course, was a British colony. The Bulsara family was part of a small but influential Indian community on the island. Freddie's father worked as a cashier for the British Colonial Office, while his mother was a homemaker. Freddie's family, especially for Zanzibar, was relatively wealthy, and they had a number of household staff. Now, Freddie spent his formative years in Zanzibar attending the Zanzibar Missionary School, where he was taught by Anglican nuns. He also, as a child, developed a passion for music. During his time in Zanzibar, Freddie's love of music began to emerge. He was exposed to a diverse range of musical styles, from traditional Indian music to African music of all kinds. And he would often sing and perform for his family and friends. He would entertain people at parties and functions around the island. And he was adorable. Look at the teeth. This is so cute. Freddie was even, as a child, known for his flamboyant personality. He would often dress up in colorful clothes and makeup, much to the grand amusement of his peers. When Freddie was 8, his parents sent him to boarding school in India. It was there his friends started calling him Freddie, as we all know him today. He apparently was very shy, but somehow theatrical all at the same time, and also a really good student. Pretty impressive line to walk there, Freddie, in my opinion. Freddie would return to Zanzibar during school holidays and moved back to the island in 1962 to finish school at the Roman Catholic St. Joseph's Convent School, only to leave the next year during what came to be known as the Zanzibar Revolution. So, in 1964, tensions between the island's Arab and African populations erupted into violence during the Zanzibar Revolution against the Sultan of Zanzibar, and the Bulsara family fled to London. During the revolution, the African majority overthrew the island's Arab and Asian ruling minority, and in the process undertook what can only be called a genocide against Arabs and South Asians. To say the least, this was tragic and probably left a very big impression on the young Freddie. These days, you can visit Freddie's childhood home right in the middle of Stone Town. It is a museum dedicated to the life and legacy of the singer. The Home Turn Museum is located on Shangani Street in Stone Town. It is the first museum in the world dedicated exclusively to Freddie Mercury. It features a collection of personal items, photographs, and memorabilia from Freddie's life, including several of his iconic stage costumes, handwritten lyrics, and rare recordings. Visitors can also see the bedroom in which Freddie was born and the room where he practiced singing and playing the piano. So, despite being one of the most famous people to come out of Zanzibar, Freddie Mercury's legacy is complicated on the island. Zanzibar is a conservative Muslim society where homosexuality is illegal and taboo. I'm going to link in the description below a piece about how the British Empire exported homophobia through colonization. The more you know. While Freddie's music is celebrated around the world, his identity as a gay South Asian man is often downplayed or ignored in Zanzibar. Some locals are uncomfortable with his flamboyant personality and open expression of his queerness. And as history shows, if he and his family had been in Zanzibar a bit later, they all may have died. As I mentioned, Freddie rarely spoke publicly about Zanzibar. He once said that from a very early age, he was put into an environment in which he had to fend for himself. And between the genocide and the homophobia, I can see why Freddie may have soured on his birthplace. However, in recent years, Zanzibar is coming to terms with Freddie's full legacy. The Freddie Mercury House has become a popular tourist attraction, and there have been calls to honor Freddie's contributions to music and culture on the island in their entirety. When I was on the island, I personally felt a bit uncomfortable with the extent to which the island profits off of Freddie's likeness while largely refusing to showcase him as a gay performer, all the while actively persecuting LGBT people today. Male same-sex acts potentially hold a life sentence in Tanzania. I see this as Zanzibar picking the parts of Freddie to show and choosing what not to show in order to make a dollar. But at the same time, as a huge Queen fan, I absolutely loved visiting the place where young Freddie Mercury came into his own. And at the end of the day, it's only a good thing for folks everywhere to celebrate Freddie's legacy. And hopefully soon in the future, Zanzibar will get to a place where they can fully celebrate the icon. So if you are in Stonetown, keep Freddie in your thoughts, stop by the museum, and think of him as a kid as you move through the labyrinth of cobblestone streets. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, and please comment to let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye!